Good morning, guys. It is day 2 of our journey through the song Cornerstone. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you have not already, meet me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. The links are below. Let's do life together beyond this time. Today we'll be picking up with the chorus. Christ alone, cornerstone, the weak were made strong in the Savior's love. And through the storm, He is the Lord, the Lord of all. If you can't tell, I want to keep going. If you can't tell, I wanted to keep going. I said that so fast. That chorus it's so good. When I'm trying to focus, but sometimes the Lord just literally He wows me with who He is and what He's done and what He's doing in my life. And being able to sit in His presence or just acknowledge when I acknowledge what He's doing through me, and for me, and within me, I get speechless, just being in awe of who He is. So, the verse that I have for us today is Acts 4, starting at verse 10. I'm trying to focus right now. I just want to worship more and more and more. Let it be known to all of you and to all people of Israel that by the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, whom you crucified, whom God raised from the dead, by Him this man is standing before you well, which means he's standing before you healed, raised from the dead. This Jesus is the stone that was rejected by you, the builders, which has become the cornerstone, and there is no salvation in no one else. For there is no other name under heaven given among men by which we must be saved. My hope is built on nothing less but Jesus' love and His righteousness. I dare not trust the sweetest frame, but wholly trust in Jesus' name. That was verse 1. That leads us into the chorus of Christ alone, my cornerstone, weak made strong in the Savior's Lord, but through the storm, He is Lord of Lords. The fact that everything we do in life, we find ourselves either on a rocky, steady, sinking, unknowing at times foundation, it puts us in a place to lean into fear. But I strongly trust and believe that when we find our place in the middle of that fear, if we have Jesus as our solid foundation, our cornerstone, the place where we can find a refuge, then we can shift that fear into faith. And it allows us to know that no matter the storm, Jesus is still Lord. Christ alone, cornerstone. When we are weak, I think sometimes weakness can be pushed too much into the mindset of being fatigued. The Lord literally can speak strength and energy into us, but I think sometimes when we are emotionally weak, it is more damaging than the physical weakness, because inwardly how we feel leads us to a place of hurt or depression, or it puts us in a position to not be able to live out the life or walk through the day according to what the Lord may have for us. And it's hard sometimes to pick ourselves up, but that is where we find our strength. We find our strength in Jesus. The buzzword or something that gets a lot of attention nowadays, being bullied. I don't think that sits in a sense just where it's with students, with kids, because kids become adults and those adults raise kids. So we've all either bullied someone or been in that position to be bullied. But I think that carries on throughout life, and it shows itself in different ways. And sometimes we may not even realize that the relationship that we have with someone else is toxic, and it is affecting us, and we find ourselves being weaker and not feeling worth any love or care, and we can be put in a place where our identity starts to fade. And all of the things around us and the things that are spoken into us really do shape what we think, not what Jesus thinks, what we think of ourselves and our identity. And so I want to encourage us all to find the strength to stand, especially in our insecurities, in Jesus. Jesus is the only one who can accept, love, and see the value and the worth in what we bring to the table. A lot of times our insecurities are the place where other people may not even see them, but if they do, we're focusing on that. If that's a place where people are reaching to tear you down, even if it's a known or an unknown, that tension there is to give in to that, and then we start believing that, and then we are, if we already know it's our insecurity or our weakness, then we give life to it. We literally give life to it, and then we find ourselves completely just hurt and weak, and not feeling strong, or not feeling like we have the strength to stand or to show our face. And I believe that that is a tension that carries throughout life. I've been in situations or conversations with different generations of people who say, I struggle with this because I feel unloved. I feel worthless. I hate my looks. I hate my skill set because it's not valued in this way. So if only I could change, if only, and I just say, if only you saw yourself the way Jesus sees you, then you would allow yourself to put value on you beyond what man says. The weak made strong is what Jesus is all about. Through the storm, he is Lord of Lords. I don't know what you're walking through today, but I guarantee you, if you're in the middle of the storm, the beginning of the storm, or you just came out of a storm, there is always a storm on the horizon. I think the more we praise Jesus before the storm, the more we praise Jesus when we see the storm, the more we will praise Jesus in the storm, and then we just repeat that cycle when he walks us out of the storm. The hard part, though, is we don't know how long the storm will last. And that's the place where sometimes the enemy steps in. And I want to say to everyone today that no matter how hard this season of life may seem and it may feel, you just have to trust the cornerstone. You have to trust Jesus. Just trust him and know that this storm will pass. And when it does, you will come out stronger on the other side. Not just because you bear it down and you took a grip and you fought it, but because you allowed yourself to be covered, to be held, to be restored and renewed, to submit, if that's a tension. Sometimes we go through storms so that we can be developed. So when this storm passes, you will come out stronger and greater than you were, but it'll be the better you. It will be the better you if you've allowed the Lord to be the one who's carrying through that storm and facilitating every choice you make, the one that you cling to. When you find fear in the middle of that storm, it's who you go to. And if you've been sitting in that storm for a long time, sometimes it is so hard to say, Jesus, I've been coming to you. I've been praying to you. Where have you been? Where are you now? I've been in that space. But don't allow your heart to be misled to think that you are alone. Just because you don't hear the sirens coming, the rescuer is coming. The freedom is coming. The healing is coming. The breakthrough is coming. That's the beauty in faith. But I assure you, there's been plenty of proof in my life. And if you really examine yours, that the Lord has said, it may not have turned out the way you thought, but I guarantee you it was better than what you needed or what you needed in that season. So I just want to encourage us today to just proclaim who God is, and no matter the storm, no matter how small or how big you may think it is, to Jesus your storm is important. To the person next to you, and you may think, man, they're going through something more than I am. They may be, but to Jesus your storm is just as important. God, I thank you so much for who you are. I thank you for the opportunity that we get to just worship you, to be in your presence, Lord, and to just see you move, God. And in those seasons of fear, in those moments of fear, you still reveal a way of loving us and protecting us, God. I pray for those in the middle of a storm right now, Jesus. I speak peace to that storm. I pray for peace, God. I pray for a peace that instantly entertains their prayer, and it instantly flees, it flocks to them and surrounds them, Lord, and their heart can have comfort. Maybe they haven't just been able to just sleep in a long time, God. I just pray that you bring peace peace to that storm. Maybe there's a relationship that is toxic and it's just so filled with tension, and both people genuinely want to see freedom, or they want to just see the tide subside. But God, sometimes the enemy is like, I'm going to win and I have the grip. I pray now, Lord, that you intervene. I pray now, Lord, that you reveal yourself and you show them ways that the enemy is using them against each other, but how you want to use them together for your glory. God, I come to you today thanking you for your love, and I just thank you for being the cornerstone in which all our hope is built upon. Thank you, Lord. Christ alone, cornerstone, the weak were made strong in the same